Welcome to Unit 8 of OnlinePHPClass.com. And in this unit, we'll talk about advanced forms, dynamic prepopulation, and preselection. Okay, so why would we want to talk about dynamic forms, prepopulation, preselection? Well, sometimes we want to provide dynamic choices to the user through our form elements based on what the user provided previously. Sometimes we want to pre-populate the form elements with these values and even pre-select a default choice. So how would you like to learn how to create HTML form elements that utilize data from MySQL through PHP code? So basically, I want to just touch on it a little bit before we dive into the nitty-gritty here. We touched on this briefly when we talked about form elements, and what we're going to do here is we're going to talk about a way where in text boxes and combo boxes and all sorts of form elements, how you can have data pre-populated in them, and also how you can pre-select them for the user. So from a pre-population standpoint, which we'll talk about, say you want to have a combo box populated with values that are derived from the database. Okay, that's pre-population example. Pre-selection example would be, say the user made a choice and then submitted it, and perhaps the user wants to go and edit that choice. Well, when they go to edit, they should see the choice that they previously made. So then you're selecting the element in the combo box in that particular example. So these are the elements we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about the text box, checkbox, combo box, radio button, submit button, reset button, and text area. We touched on these when we talked about form elements. Now we're just going to take it another step further. Dynamic prepopulation and preselection for a text box. Okay, given that a text box doesn't have options to choose from, when we pre-populate it, we are effectively pre-selecting it as well. In other words, if I want the text box for first name pre-populated with Greg, it would be as if I typed Greg into the box. So the value, so basically, the items that we are populating the text box with is the text itself. Therefore, we're essentially pre-selecting. It's different from the context of a combo box where you populate the combo box with the choices and then you pre-select one particular choice. In the text box, there's not options. So we're pre-populating and pre-selecting simultaneously. The value of the text box is the text of the item typed into it, which we talked about before. Okay, therefore, in order to pre-populate and pre-select a text box, you just set the value. Here's an example. So to produce a text box with a first name field pre-populated with Greg, we use input type equal text, name equal first name, or whatever value for the variable you want to have, and then value equal Greg. Then we'll actually have a text box that will already have text in it with the word Greg. So, or with PHP, we can just take a variable and echo it as the value. For example, you set the variable first name equal to Greg, and then with the input type equal text line, you have the value, and for that you're echoing the value of the variable first name. Another way to do it is to use the non-short form tag, where you open the PHP tag and do an echo first name, close PHP tag there, inside of the value. Okay, the variable, of course, can be a database value from a MySQL table as well. So for example, we could iterate through a table and find, or we can query the first name of a certain user and then provide that value to the first name variable and then pre-populate the text box with that first name. All right, for a checkbox, the label, name, and value of a checkbox can be important when pre-populating and dynamically creating checkboxes. So any of these pre-population, pre-selection examples can be placed in a PHP loop. For example, to pre-populate, we have label equal green, and then we echo the label followed by the checkbox, and the name being the actual, in this particular example, being the label itself, value equal to 1. To pre-select a checkbox, in other words, default the checkbox to being checked, we use the checked parameter. So we just, a static example was to do input type equal checkbox, name equal green, value equal 1, checked. Or to use PHP, we could say is checked equal 1, input type equal checkbox, name equal green, value equal 1, and then my apologies, there should be a question mark on the open PHP tag. So open PHP, if is checked is equal to 1, then echo checked. And the reason why there are two greater thans at the end of that line is because the first one goes with the closed PHP tag, and the second one is actually closing the input tag. Alright, so say we want the user to choose his or her favorite colors, colors being plural. We can use a checkbox array. Here's a static example. Notice the open and close bracket in the name field. And then to retrieve them, we just retrieve them through the array. So you get, when you look at the color variable in the request array, you actually return an array. So that's why I have $color_ARR, because for me it helps keep it straight that that's actually going to be an array. And then if green were selected, if only green were selected, $color_ARR with an index of 0 would equal to green, because that's what we have the value set for that particular checkbox. When we talk about a combo box or a drop-down box, there's a good level of pre-population. We want to create the box in HTML and then pre-populate it with PHP code. So for example, we have the colors array here, and then what we do is we open and close the select tag, okay, and the name of the variable for the combo box would be within the open select tag. And then inside of the select tag, we put a open and close PHP tag with a for each loop. For each, colors being the array, as key pointing to value, echo, and what we're now doing is we're going to echo the HTML for the option tag that gets nested within the select. So option value equals whatever the value is of the array, and then also use that as the text, and then close the option, and then close the echo, close the for each. Close the for each, just making sure that it's there, and then close the PHP tag. And of course, the array that we have here for colors can be changed to an array of values from a MySQL query. Alright, so the selected keyword is used on the option for the item you want to be the default choice. So to pre-select with a combo box, you just have the same kind of value where you echo selected. And that's what we're doing here. We're saying the default is red, and then we'll echo selected if the value is equal to the default. Alright, now for a radio button works similar to that of a checkbox, but remember the name of the radio button should be the same for the buttons in the same group. Only one radio button can be chosen per group. So this is what we're doing. It's pretty much identical to the checkbox. For a submit button and reset button, the value attribute represents what's shown on the submit button, or reset button in that case. So simply set it like we did for text boxes. There is no pre-selection for submit reset buttons. For a text area, there's no pre-selection for a text area, given that text area works similar to a text box. Follow a similar process to that of a drop-down box. The value of the text area is the text itself, and to fill a text area, just put the text in between the text area tags. So here we open and close text area, and in the middle is a PHP echo tag for entry data. Entry data is what would actually be shown in the text area box. Just so that you know, I'm pretty sure we covered it in the forms slide. I just want to mention text area is basically like what you'll see. It's like a text box, except there's multiple rows usually. So you can specify rows and columns, and it's just like a jumbo text box that could be multi-lined and that kind of thing. That's why I said there's an open and close tag for text area, because the text goes in the middle. Alright, so the demo. What we're going to do is make the background color changer from a combo box using the elements in the database table. Give the option to specify an additional color, adding that color to the table for future use if a checkbox is checked. When the form is submitted, the selected color is shown in the combo box on the resulting page that has the background color set to the entered background color. So, one step at a time. Make the background color changer from a combo box using elements in a database table. Alright, so we're gonna... How do we do it now? We just have it type in, right? Yeah. Alright, so what we're gonna do is... Let's see here. Now you guys, you probably made it so that it reconstructed the array, in which case you might have a slightly easier time doing this. I'm just going to change this to a combo box. And the way we do that, what I'm actually going to do is duplicate the line. Oops. I wish... Alright. I'm just going to comment this. Oop. I like to have the original code on the same page. Alright. Comment that. And our color is fine, except... Yeah, that's fine. Alright, so select, or what we'll do is we'll make a select name equal to the same name that it was before. Okay. We'll close the select tag. Now the options, let's see here. Else bg equals white. Now what I can actually do is put the connection outside of the loop. I should format these two. Okay. And then issue a query select color name from colors. Okay. I need to put a query result. Okay. Trying to think when I iterate through the array, and yeah, I think that's how I want to do it. I want to reconstruct the array. For I equal to 0, do I MySQL num rows. Well, it should be color. Let's do this. Let's create. The all colors array. Now let's do color equals color R. And what we'll do is now we have one color. We can Oh, what am I doing here? Eh. Alright, color. Now we have one color, and what we'll do is an array push to the array of all colors, value of color, and then now we have the all colors array that we can iterate through here for each here's where sanitizing becomes really important. So for the demo purposes, I'm demoing how to do this, but keep in mind this is not sanitized code, so you really could, wreak havoc on an application. But anyway, for now, make sure you always make sure you follow the sanitizing section, research it a bit, and add additional sanitizing. Alright, so option value, okay. Let's see if that works. Why not? There it goes. Alright, now when I reloaded it, nothing happened because that's in the else. And in reality, it doesn't need to be. Give the option to specify an additional color. Okay, I'm not going to do that one yet. I'm going to do the third one. When the form is submitted, select color is shown in the comma box on the resulting page. That's the background color set to default color. Okay, that's true for the most part. If I refresh it and I hit blue, it's still going to say blue because blue is the first one. If I choose green, it's going to go back to blue. Okay, so what we want to do, what I want to do is, now we got to do that. So that was pre-populating items in the select box. Now what we want to do is pre-select. One way to do it is if value equals bg color cell equals selected. Then all you have to do, else, I don't have to do this, but I'll do it for completeness. Cell is blank. Then I can just toss the word cell here, and since it's already in an echo tag, it'll pre-populate, or pre-select. Alright. If I choose green, there you go. Choose red, there you go. Alright, give the option to specify an additional color, adding that color to the table for future use if a checkbox is checked to remember it. Okay. Oh well, here's where it comes in handy that I still have that text box. Alright. For future use. Okay. There's a couple different ways to go about this. What I can do is add the option or type in your color. Okay, and then that. actually want to do add an option tag with nothing in it. Okay, and we'll move the button down too. Okay, so or type in your color. Now, so that'll work, but it's not going to remember it. Oh, well, right, it's not a valid color because it's not in the array. We talked about that before. Okay, so that's alright, that's an interesting dilemma. So we have to fix that too. Alright, or type in your color, right, fine. Type equal checkbox, name equal remember, value equals 1. Okay. Alright. Do this then. Let's not make the typed in color. Well, then that means, yeah, that's fine. I'll change it. So, no, change my mind. The color. Alright, so what we have to do is we have to determine if there's a value. Okay, if there's a value not found, so actually I don't care about this anymore. Okay, I don't care if it's not a valid color. But what I do want to do is that's fine. So you can type in your own color. If, what is the value of the checkbox? I mean the name of the checkbox? Remember. So if if it's set to remember, now we have to do a MySQL query, insert into colors, color name, values, if it's set to remember it. So if I type purple here, alright, nothing changes here. But if I type purple here, and then click remember it, hit change background color, purple then becomes the option, and it becomes pre-selected. Alright. So if I do online PHP class, oh, by the way, did you figure out why onlinephpclass.com turns into this color? Would you like to know? Alright, I'll show you before I get to the exercise. If we take onlinephpclass.com, so in HTML, I'm trying to think if it's an HTML standard in RFC or if it's actually browser specific. There are specific colors defined, like purple, red, green, that kind of thing. The ones that we've been using. There are specific colors defined. I don't know if it's HTML in the HTML RFC or if it's specific for individual browsers. Regardless, each browser for colors and HTML will support hex, hexadecimal color schemes, RGB color schemes. So the first two numbers represent the amount of red in the color, the second two the amount of green, and the third two the amount of blue. So what you do here, and hex, if you know, goes from 0 through 9 in digits and A through F in letters. So what you do is you strip out everything that's not 0 through 9 in numbers or A through F in letters. Okay, so M is not there, O is not there, C is, dot is not, S is not, S is not, A is, L is not, C is, P, H, P, E, and they're not. And you're left with ECAC, okay? And you might be like, oh, well, if I submit ECAC, will I get this blue? And the answer is no, okay? And I'll show you. Okay, you actually get like an orange. You might say, well, why is that? So how do you get the blue and how do you get the orange? Well, it's quite simple. If we do ECAC, when there's not 6 characters for hex, 0, 0 for black, basically, or I'm sorry, zeros, all zeros is black, but 0, 0 for the absence of that color, okay, go at the beginning. And so if I do this, I'll get the blue. Okay? Okay. If you provided more letters than the amount of than 6. If you provide less, 0, 0 actually goes on at the end. ECAC 0, 0. You'll get the orange. Kind of weird, huh? So, I mean, that's pretty much the reason. So if I do something like, I was going to say cat in the hat, and I submit it, I get this red. And that red, if we look at the letters, cat in the hat, no, 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 yes, is CAEA. Okay, but if I submit it by itself, I get this other color. But if I put 0, 0, CAEA, I'll get that red back. Did I do that right? The cat in the hat. No, no. Oh, no, I didn't. I missed a letter. Alright, so ECAEA, you get this color. Okay, but ECAEA, and that's 5. I just need 1 0 then. Was that the... No, I don't even remember the original color. Ooh, really? Alright. No, no. ECAEA. I gotta cut that, Justin. Control X, Control C. ECAEA. 0, ECAEA. I don't know why that's not working. Yeah, that's the one without it. That's this one. Okay. But the it should be a dark blue. This I can't seem to figure out. Am I missing one? Like, it should be a 0. And it's not. So much for a demo, huh? No, just kidding. T. Yeah, I don't understand. should add it. I mean, the blue that I get, that is the same color, but that's not the color. Yeah, that I don't, it looks like there's, okay, so I don't know what happens when there's only one. So in other words, if I just did cat in the hat, and I get this red, and I take out this and I put 2 zeros up at the front, I should get the same red. No, I don't. Okay, something's weird. I don't understand what's going on here. Well, anyway, I showed you why it works for onlinephpclass.com. I'm not going to take any more time up in this particular lesson, but if you can figure out why cat in the hat and the cat in the hat are behaving the way they are, post on the forum, let me know. I'll see if I can figure it out in the meantime, but regardless, that's rather interesting. It could be a caching issue with the internal preview here also. The other thing is it might have to do with the fact that the words that they're blank. I don't know. The fact that we're getting to the colors because we have the text box too. So 0, 0. Let's see if I can figure that out. All right, let me move over to the demo, to the exercise. All right, so the exercise is to do the demo. Make a background color, change your from the combo box using elements in the database table. Give the option to specify an additional color, adding that color to the table for future use if a checkbox is checked. To remember it. When the form is submitted, the selected color is shown in the combo box on the resulting page that has the background color set to the entered background color. All right. And as always, post to the forum, any questions, observations, and things you want to share, and your results and all that. And I'll see you in the next unit.